Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Thursday, September 5, Kyle confesses to Claire Liley's alarming news. Victor scores intel. The Young and the Restless, Vyad R. Spoilers for Thursday, September 5, reveal that Lily Winters, Crystal Collel, will sound the alarm to Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and leave him quite concerned. It looks like Lily will rant about power-hungry Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, ousting her before insisting that he's going to run Abbott Chancellor into the ground if no one stops him. Lily may warn that Billy is going to drag Jack's family name down with him and make Jack worry about his brother going off the rails. Billy may even pull some new stunt that gives Jack extra reasons to fret about the road he's on. In the meantime, I and our spoilers say Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, will pass along some Billy-related intel that'll prove useful to Victor Newman, Eric Braden. It'll help Victor as he prepares for Billy's takedown, but what about the deal Lily offered? Lily wants to run Chancellor again in exchange for showing him Billy's weak spots, but Victor has already promised Nikki that she can run the company following the takeover. However, there might be some room for compromise if Nikki agrees to share power or Lily's willing to be her right-hand woman. Whatever the case, Victor may talk to Nikki about Lily's proposal and the best way to handle all this. Over with Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller. He'll push for a discussion with Claire Grace, Haley Aaron, and confess something. Kyle may admit that Victor pushed him to start looking for nanny replacements since he wants Claire back at the Newman Empire. Perhaps Kyle will offer a reminder about how much Harrison Abbott, Redding Munsell, adores Claire before acknowledging that Victor probably isn't going to let this go. Of course, Kyle may also argue that Claire has to be in charge of her own future, especially after all the years she spent under Jordan's, Colleen Zenk, control. Since there's clearly a spark between Kyle and Claire, that may be something that comes up sooner or later. Claire has been adamant about not pursuing any kind of romance with her boss, but that obstacle will be out of the way if she goes to work for Victor. Kyle and Claire indeed have a new relationship on the horizon, so we'll bring you predictions on whether love will truly bloom. The crisp September air settled over Geno City, bringing with it the scent of change, a season of new beginnings, endings, and startling revelations. At Jabot, the tension was palpable as Kyle Abbott paced the polished floors of his office, his mind racing with the weight of a confession he could no longer suppress. His heart pounded as he clutched his phone, eyes darting to the door every few seconds, waiting for Claire's arrival. Claire came in with a soft knock on the door, her presence calm yet commanding. Dressed in a chic autumn ensemble, she radiated the same professional confidence that had earned her a swift rise in the corporate world. But behind her composed exterior, there was a flicker of concern. Kyle had sounded different on the phone, almost desperate. She stepped into the office, closing the door behind her, her eyes locking onto Kyle's as he stopped pacing. "Kyle," Claire began, her voice steady. "What's going on? You sounded urgent." Kyle exhaled deeply, running a hand through his already tousled hair. "Claire, I don't know where to begin. I've been carrying this burden for too long, and it's eating me alive." His voice cracked, revealing the emotional turmoil he'd kept hidden for weeks. Claire's expression softened. She had seen Kyle in many lights, confident, charismatic, even reckless, but never this vulnerable. She moved closer, her concern deepening. "Kyle, you can tell me anything. Whatever it is, we'll figure it out together." He nodded, taking a moment to gather his thoughts. "It's about Harrison. There's something you need to know, something I should have told you earlier." His gaze dropped to the floor, shame weighing heavily on him. Claire's breath caught in her throat. "Harrison? What about him?" she asked, her mind racing through possibilities, each one more troubling than the last. Kyle finally looked up, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Claire, Harrison isn't just an innocent child caught in the middle of my complicated life. He's the reason for it, my reason for everything. But there's a truth I've been hiding, a truth that changes everything." Claire's heart pounded. "What are you saying, Kyle? Just tell me." He swallowed hard, the words catching in his throat before he forced them out. "Harrison's parentage, it's not what everyone thinks. There's a secret, a dark secret, that Tara and I kept hidden. And now, it's time you know." The room seemed to shrink as Claire processed his words, her mind reeling. She had always sensed that something was off, that there was more to the story than Kyle had let on. But this was beyond anything she had imagined. "Kyle," she whispered, "you need to tell me everything." Meanwhile, across town at Chancellor Winters, Lily Winters sat behind her desk, staring at a document that had just landed on her desk. Her usual poised demeanor was replaced by a look of alarm as she read the contents, her hands trembling slightly. She had spent the last few months navigating the treacherous waters of corporate warfare. But this was personal. Devin entered her office with a concerned look. "Lily, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." Lily looked up at her brother, her eyes wide with fear. "Devin, I just got news that could change everything, news about the company and about our family." Devin moved closer, his protective instincts kicking in. "What is it? Tell me." Lily took a deep breath, her voice shaky as she spoke. "It's about a potential merger, one that could either save us or destroy us, and it's coming from someone we never expected." Devin's brow furrowed. "Who?" Lily hesitated before answering, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's Tucker." The name hung in the air like a dark cloud. Tucker McCall had always been a wild card, a force of nature with his own agenda. Devin knew better than anyone how dangerous his father could be, especially when it came to business. "Tucker?" Devin repeated, his voice filled with disbelief. "What does he want now?" Lily handed him the document, her hands still trembling. "He wants to merge Chancellor Winters with McCall Unlimited. He's proposing a partnership that could be mutually beneficial, but it's also incredibly risky. And knowing Tucker, there's more to this than meets the eye." Devin scanned the document, his mind racing. "This could be a trap, Lily. Tucker never does anything without a hidden agenda. We need to be careful." Lily nodded, her expression grim. "I know. But we can't ignore this. If we don't at least consider his offer, we could be facing financial ruin. We're already stretched thin with the recent acquisitions, and this might be our only way out." Devin placed the document on her desk, his eyes meeting Lily's with determination. "We need to get ahead of this. Let's gather our team and come up with a strategy. Tucker won't catch us off guard. We'll be ready for whatever he throws at us." While Lily and Devin strategized, another battle was brewing at Newman Enterprises. Victor Newman, the indomitable patriarch of the Newman family, sat in his expansive office, his eyes narrowed as he read a confidential report. His sources had come through once again, providing him with the kind of intel that could turn the tide in the ongoing corporate wars. Victor leaned back in his leather chair, a satisfied smirk playing on his lips. He had always prided himself on staying one step ahead of his enemies, and today was no different. The information he had just received was a game changer, something that would give him the upper hand in his dealings with Tucker McCall and Chancellor Winters. "Nick," Victor called out as his son entered the office. "I've just received some very interesting information, something that could give us the leverage we need against Tucker." Nick raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What kind of information?" Victor's smirk widened. "Let's just say that Tucker isn't as invincible as he thinks he is. He has vulnerabilities that we can exploit to our advantage." Nick nodded, a determined look in his eyes. "So what's the plan?" Victor leaned forward, his voice low and commanding. "The plan, my son, is to strike when Tucker least expects it. We're going to use this intel to force his hand, to make him realize that he's playing in our league now. And when the dust settles, Newman Enterprises will be stronger than ever." Nick couldn't help but smile. His father had always been a master strategist, and with this new information, they were poised to take control of the situation. But as he left Victor's office, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning, that the game was far from over and the stakes were higher than ever. Back at Jabut, Kyle finally finished his confession, his voice barely above a whisper as he looked at Claire with tear-filled eyes. "I'm so sorry, Claire. I never wanted to hurt you. But I couldn't keep this secret any longer." Claire stood there, her mind racing, her heart heavy with the weight of Kyle's revelation. She had come to Genoa City with dreams of a fresh start, but now she found herself entangled in a web of lies and secrets that threatened to unravel everything she had worked for. "Kyle," she said softly, "I need some time to process this. But know this, I'm not going anywhere. We'll get through this together. Kyle nodded, a sense of relief washing over him. He had feared the worst, but Claire's words gave him hope. Perhaps there was a way forward after all. But as the sun set over Geno City, casting long shadows across the town, it was clear that the days ahead would be filled with more twists and turns, as the residents of this tight-knit community faced the consequences of their actions, and the secrets they had fought so hard to keep buried began to resurface.